Welcome back to another lecture. In this one, we are talking about the obligations of the principals in the transaction. Now, when we talk about principals are either the buyer or the seller, an actual party to the transaction. So the lender is not a principal. The listing agent is not a principal. Your buyer's agent is not a principal. You, as the buyer, and the seller are the principals in this transaction, and you both have obligations. When you submit an offer, there are many clauses in the offer that state that time is of the essence. And what this essentially means is that time is not to be wasted. So even if you have 17 days for your investigation period, it is not, technically speaking, allowable. You're not supposed to be just taking your sweet time until the absolute end of that period to do any of your investigations or review disclosures or anything like that. So once you get disclosures, you want to be pretty prompt, review those disclosures. You want to be pretty quick in getting your inspections scheduled. You want to make sure that you're doing the best you can on your time to act in a prompt manner and make sure that you're not holding anything up. Because you got to understand it this way. The seller has their property off the market for you because they are expecting that you're going to move forward and purchase their property. During your investigation and due diligence period, if there's anything that comes up that makes you decide differently as to whether you're going to purchase the property or not, it's only respectful that you are going to let them know sooner rather than later so that you're not wasting everybody's time, including your own. In addition, as the buyer principal, it's also your requirement that you are acting in a trustworthy manner. You are not making misrepresentations about your offer or about yourself or about your financing situation. So if you have a pre-approval letter from the lender and you go out and you knowingly, without permission from your lender, go out and buy a car or buy a boat or take out a new credit card, you are technically acting irresponsibly and you are going to be jeopardizing the potential transaction and loan. And therefore, you're not upholding your responsibilities as a buyer as you should be, okay? Because this, again, the escrow process is a teamwork process. There are many people getting to work on your behalf, on the seller's behalf, that are independent and only get paid once the transaction closes. Now, this isn't to say that if there's anything wrong with the property that you don't want to move forward on, that you should move forward. Absolutely not. To the contrary, you must be making sure diligently that this is the property you want to move forward on and investigating things so that you are confident as quickly as possible. Another responsibility of the buyer, of course, also if you're getting a loan, is that you are responding to the lender's requests and needs for documents and whatever sort of things in a timely manner. So once you're getting a list of conditions from the lender that they are going to need to satisfy the loan approval and get full loan approval on the file, you want to make sure you are working proactively in getting these documents to your lender. That is your responsibility because you don't want to hold up the loan, and loans oftentimes are one of the things that are going to delay a close. On the flip side, the seller's responsibility as the other side of the principal is that they are also making the property readily available for you to do your investigations and your inspections and everything else you need to do on the property, okay? So the seller cannot be holding up the inspection outside of reasonable hours or saying, oh no, you can only come once and you can only do it for 1 hour. No, they need to be cooperating with your investigations and your inspections. So it's imperative that both sides work together as efficiently and acting as if time is of the essence as possible. Because of course the goal of both sides is to close the transaction. And if not, it's to find out whether or not there's going to be any issues in the meantime and resolve those or part ways as quickly as possible, out of due respect to both parties. Now, part of the aspect of good faith under the good faith deposit or the earnest money deposit also comes into play when we're considering the responsibilities of the buyer. Because plain and simple, if you're submitting an offer on a property, what you're essentially saying is that I have the qualifications and ability to purchase this property, of course, pending loan approval, but I have been pre-approved and I'm moving forward submitting this offer because I have the capability and means to purchase this. Now, if you're submitting multiple offers at the same time on different properties, then it could be argued that you do not have the means to move forward on all of those properties at the same time. I mean, maybe you do, but assuming you don't financially have the means to do that, then what could be argued is that you're not acting in good faith. So I'm not saying that you cannot submit multiple offers at the same time, especially in a competitive market. What I'm saying is you must tread lightly on that. And there is a special form for demonstrating that you are doing that to the sellers so that you are as transparent as possible and acting in good faith. Now that said, just understand that if you're doing things like this, you want to be as quick and prompt as possible whenever you do get an offer accepted, okay? So make sure that you are acting in a timely, prompt manner when it comes down to contingencies, when it comes down to investigations, and when it comes down to everything else that entails getting this property closed in a timely manner. I'll see you in the next lecture.